here's the big update coming in, even as the wrestlers are awaiting Brij Bhushan's arrest. The WFI chief, who's been accused of sexual harassment, a POXO case that's on him. Sakshi Malik, one of those Olympians and wrestlers who's been with the wrestlers for at least a few months since January, the protest that began. Until date, Sakshi Malik, who was with them rock solid, has now withdrawn from the wrestlers' protest. The reason is yet to be ascertained, but Milan is, of course, bringing us a lot more detail on that. Milan, any word of outcome after the meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah? What we hear from the wrestlers is that it was inconclusive. All right, we're going to try and patch Milan's line, but here is big information and update coming in on Sakshi Malik, one of those wrestlers who has been protesting against Brij Bhushan, the WFI chief, they've accused him of sexual harassment and questioning why an arrest has not taken place even months after an FIR was filed against him. Sakshi Malik, who stood with those protesters, has now withdrawn. In fact, Sakshi rejoins her posting in the railways. It appears that this has come as a setback certainly to the wrestlers who have been protesting day in, day out against the Wrestling Federation of India's chief, Brij Bhushan. Sakshi Malik, one of those top faces, who's an Olympian herself, she has now withdrawn from this protest. This certainly will come as a big blow to the wrestling, not to the fraternity, of course. At this point, about 7 of those wrestlers who were protesting, Sakshi Malik was one of them. Her withdrawing from the wrestlers' protest has now come as a huge blow to the wrestling, to the wrestlers itself, as Sakshi has gone back to her railways posting. She is now withdrawn from the protest that was on from January this year. Sakshi Malik's husband, in fact, Satyawrat, he was also present during multiple of those protests by those wrestlers, where his wife Sakshi was also seated. We believe that he was also present, he and Sakshi were also present at the recent meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah. But what came out of that meeting was inconclusive. This is the information that we get from the wrestlers itself. They claim that their meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah has been inconclusive. But Sakshi Malik, what's the reason to why she's withdrawn from the wrestlers' protest is yet to be ascertained. For now, what we know, that Sakshi Malik has withdrawn from the protest and she's gone back to her railways posting, gone back to her regular routine. This comes just 3 days after a meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah over Brij Bhushan's arrest. One should remember that Sakshi Malik was also one of those many wrestlers, about 7 of them who've been protesting day in, day out, who reached Haridwar as well, just barely a week ago, where they promised to throw away their Olympic medals into the river Ganga, in a form of protest, a symbolic protest, to say that they have not got any help or support from the nation, that they have earned so hard or worked so hard towards earning medal and pride for the country. This is the same Sakshi Malik who sat in protest for months now, who's withdrawn. Let me quickly cut across to our reporter joining us, Himanshu Mishra, for a little more on that. Himanshu, please give us an understanding on why Sakshi Malik has withdrawn from the protest. What really happened at the meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah? Now, 3 days later, Sakshi Malik now goes back to her routine and walks away from the protesters who've been protesting for nearly 3 months. All right, we're going to try. Himanshu, if you're with us, can you hear me? All right, I'm going to try and patch Himanshu's line there, but here are the images on the left we're bringing to you of Sakshi Malik. In fact, they were at Haridwar barely a week ago, where they threatened to throw away their Olympic medals into River Ganga in a form of protest, suggesting that the country has failed them, the administration, the government has failed them, because they've accused the Wrestling Federation of India, Brij Bhushan, of serious counts of sexual harassment, including a POXO case that's been filed against him by one of those protesters. In fact, just today, just a little earlier today, the minor in this case, among the 7 protesters, one of them is a minor. She has recorded her statement as well. Her statement has gone to the court. It was sent through an enclosed mail, an envelope rather, to court. as the court now taking up this matter seriously. Himanshu Mishra, if you're with me, if you can hear me, please give us an understanding on why Sakshi Malik has withdrawn from the protest. आपको पता है साक्षी मालिक ने क्यों प्रोटेस्ट से वो पीछे हट गए हैं?
देखिए, ये लगातार पिछले 23 अप्रैल से पहलवान बैठे थे। कई बार मेरी खुद बात हुई थी साक्षी मलिक से, बजरंग पुनिया से, लेकिन एक बार भी ऐसा नहीं लगा था कि कोई भी जिस तरीके की कमिटमेंट ये दिखाते थे, कहते थे कि जब तक पहले जब ये पहुंचे थे तो इनका ये कहना था कि केस रजिस्टर होना चाहिए, एफआईआर रजिस्टर होना चाहिए, और इसके लिए कोर्ट गए थे। उसके बाद कोर्ट ने जब पुलिस की बारी आई थी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जवाब देने की, तो इसके पहले की कोर्ट गाइडलाइन देती, खुद पुलिस ने कह दिया था कि वो 2 एफआईआर रजिस्टर कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद पहलवानों की तरफ से कहा गया था कि गिरफ्तारी तक वो यहाँ से नहीं हटेंगे जब तक एक्शन नहीं होगा। लेकिन अचानक से साक्षी मलिक ने खुद को अलग कर लिया है, वो अपने जॉब पर भी लौट गई है। तो ये इतना अचानक हुआ है कि हमने अभी बात करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन हमारी अभी बात हो नहीं पा रही है। लेकिन ये चीज है कि वो आंदोलन से उन्होंने खुद को अलग कर लिया है और जॉब पे भी लौट आई है। और इनके जो साथी पहलवान है जो इनके साथ वहां पर, चाहे विनेश फोगाट हो, बजरंग पुनिया हो, उनसे अभी हमारी बात करने की हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि जब ये लोग हरिद्वार गए थे और जंतर मंतर से जब इन्हें हटा दिया गया था, उसके बाद पहलवान लगातार कोशिश कर रहे थे कि एक बार फिर से प्रोटेस्ट शुरू हो सके, लेकिन प्रोटेस्ट नहीं हो पा रहा था। 5 दिन का अल्टीमेटम था सरकार को, 5 दिन बाद इन्हें वापस जाना था और इन्होंने कहा था कि हम वापस आएंगे हरिद्वार और अपने जो तमाम मेडल है उसको बहा देंगे अगर गिरफ्तारी नहीं होती है। लेकिन ये बड़ा डेवलपमेंट है, हम लगातार कांटेक्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, रीजन समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।